Chapter 3, Measurement.
Measurement is the third content area designated as a focus for the curriculum in the preschool, kindergarten, and primary grades. Introductory and continuing experiences with measurement in preschool and kindergarten are considered important because they help children build foundational concepts that connect to later learning in the primary grades and beyond. Measurement, number and operations, and geometry are content areas that are strongly interrelated. The development of measurement concepts begins in infancy, but continues to develop over many years. Even 9-month-old babies have been documented as discriminating sequences in size. Preschool children often have several strategies for judging relative size. First, they use perceptual comparisons when both objects are present, such as a big ball versus a small one. Second, they can use a remembered object as a norm for comparison of other objects. For example, a child who has a German Shepherd at home may call a Scotty a little dog. Finally, preschool children can use functionality to make size decisions. They might say that a particular hat is the right size for their doll, but too small for them. Preschool children do not distinguish between continuous and discrete quantities. For this reason, they would be likely to believe that 2 pieces of a graham cracker are more than a whole cracker. When comparing the lengths of objects, preschool and kindergarten children are often confused by the placements of the objects. While they can tell that 2 identical pencils placed next to one another are the same length, if one pencil is moved so that its tip extends beyond the other, many 4 to 6-year-olds believe that the protruding pencil is longer. Children's perceptions also confuse their measurement of volume. When water is poured from a short, squat glass into a tall, skinny glass, most 4 to 6-year-olds believe the tall glass has more water. Because children tend to focus on only one attribute of a measurement, such as the tip of 2 pencils or the height of a container, they need many experiences making measurement comparisons, as you'll see in the following videos. We will begin this chapter by looking at an ongoing project involving measurement. Notice how this project integrates curriculum areas of mathematics, literacy, science, social studies, and the arts, and pay particular attention to how teachers capitalize on meaningful opportunities to measure.
All right, we are going to do a page about your book, and I want you to draw a picture, and we're going to write the word amaryllis up on top up here. I'm going to get you the box so you can do it. Let's put it together like this. You only need a front page and a back page journal. What color do you want to write in? If you want a pencil, we could get one from over here. Here we go. What do you always put at the bottom of your book? Who's the author? Who's the writer and the author? You are. Put your name right down there. Oh, you need me to get your name tag out for you? We can do that. And then what do you think's going to happen when we measure today? What do you think's going to happen when we measure? Like it's that big? Do you think it grew? You think it grew? There we go. Get your name on there.
We had a cooking project several months ago that involved apples. And in the process of peeling the apple, we had these long pieces of apple peel. And the children started talking about how long the peel was and how could we measure it. And they measured it against themselves. And then they chose some other things in the classroom. And we tried to figure out a way that we could document that.
And as Joyce and I began to think about how that would work, I asked Joyce to create a paper for us. So she came up with what other things can you use to measure the apple peel. From there, our children took many things out of the classroom. We had You see a curtain rod here because we use a curtain rod to hang some of the curtains up when it's sunny. We had children use their coats. We actually had one little boy who did 2.5 coats with the half being his hood. We had markers on the floor. We had tissue boxes. The list of things they created with the non-standard measurements continued on for about a month.
We had a child who even used the tape dispensers and put them end on end to measure how long the apple peel was. And then that sort of led into the next activity, which is a measuring of the amaryllis.
And you can measure this. We'll see how big it got. Do you know?
Here you go.
That much bigger? That's a good guess. That's a good guess. All right. You can draw a picture of your bulb, and I'm going to get your measuring straw out. Remember our giant straws that we had? Now what's the next part? How big are you going to make that? Do you know how big to make it? It's pretty big, isn't it? What's at the top? Is that how big you want it? Is that big enough, do you think, to show how much it grew? Ah, there you go. That's pretty big, isn't it? That's a big bulb. All right, let's hold this up and we'll see how big it got. Let's see if it grew. Remember when we measure, we start at the bottom of the stem and we go to the top. And I'll get your yellow tape out. This will be your third week measurement. We're measuring the third week. Hold it up next to there and see what happened. Let's hold it up at the bottom of the bulb. Did it grow? How do you know it grew?
Because we walked away.
Because you did what?
Walked away.
We put the tape on it so we would watch it grow, didn't we? All right, now let me give you another piece of tape so you can measure how big it is today and put this piece of tape at the top of the plant. I'll hold it for you, all right? I'll hold it up against there. Did you want to measure too today, Grace? Because you remember when we did yours? What happened, Grace? Look what happened. Do you think this plant grew over the weekend?
Yeah.
How can you tell?
Look
Look where the tape is. That's where we put it the last time. Where's Kamaya going to have to put it this time? Where's the top of the plant? Right there. Put it right where her finger was. We decided to do measurements by week 1, week 2, week 3. From there, we started doing that on the yardstick, which they call the measuring stick. And they also then used yarn. And I found some very long straws in one of our grocery stores that happened to be perfect for measuring it.
This is what we already talked about when we first started looking at the amaryllis plant. Remember, this was a picture of what it looked like. You can get up on your knees, Ellie, if you need to. Just don't block Grace. Remember, this is what it looked like before we put it in here. What were these things that were sticking out of the bottom?
Six.
They look like sticks,
They're
don't
roots.
they? Oh, Ethan says they're roots. They look like sticks. Why do you think it has roots? What do the roots do?
They suck up the water.
They suck up the water. It also brings in several other content areas because we're journaling, so there's a lot of dictation, a lot of writing, a lot of sounds and how things are spelled. There's a lot of drawing about what they're seeing and how it looks.
We have a lot of science going on because one of our bulbs has been planted in dirt, the other one in rocks, and the roots are growing. And we were actually able to see the roots grow a little bit on the bulb that is planted in rocks. You cannot see that part. So we've crossed disciplines throughout the curriculum with this activity. The bulbs have given us an opportunity to measure and also do a lot of other curriculum areas with the bulb. What happened to Joyce's plant this weekend?
Really big.
And what happened at the top?
Has a flower. It almost has a flower.
How long do you think this might be? After we got done measuring, we brought Joyce's in because obviously hers is going to be bigger. And today some of the children realized that Joyce's bulb had grown as big as some of them are. So we're making predictions about how they're going to grow and what other things we might be able to use to measure. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Well, we're going to be measuring for quite a while, and one of the plants has actually getting ready to bloom. So we're hoping that this might lead into a spring planting activity where, depending on what we should choose to plant, we'll have a lot more measuring going on, but then there's the whole science part of that comes into it, and the journaling, and hopefully as the weather gets nice that we might even plant something outside that we can pay attention to in the same way.
The other thing I think we will always continue to do is provide the measurement implements that are standard and give them other things for anything that they're building or come up with on their own, and let them try to measure that.
The three match the same.
Which ones match the same? All the way across?
No. Oh no.
Oh, these three up at the top. How do you know that, Matthew?
This project focused on measuring length. Children measured the plant length by placing tape on a straw. The teachers also began talking to children about length related to standard units of measurement, such as when the children held the yardstick up to the plant to see how many inches it was. Standard units of measurement, such as feet, yards, pounds, and seconds, can be confusing to children because they are abstract concepts. Sometimes it is helpful to encourage children to unitize measurement using non-standard units because it is more concrete. For example, how many toothpicks tall is the plant? Or how many paper clips long is the string? The teachers discuss unitizing measurement in this way when the children measured the apple peels in a previous activity. The following video provides you with another example of children unitizing measurement using non-standard units.
Okay, so I jumped all the way from here, and I'll mark here to here. Now we need to measure. How far is it from here to here? How are we going to measure? Our stick isn't long enough, so we need to, one stick, two sticks, you put another one. Okay, I'll let you know when it's your turn. 3 sticks. Are we there yet? Did we make it? All the way to there. Okay, let's count. See how many sticks it took. Count with me, Malik. 1. Oh, you can count them. Go ahead, count them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 sticks. 7 and part of this one. Almost 8 sticks.
Let's now turn our attention to measuring volume. Watch as the children explore volume with water in the sensory table.
So what is this stuff? This purple stuff?
Water.
It's just water?
The 2 and this one. It's a little.
Okay, so if it took 2 in that one, how much do you think it takes in the other one? Well, we use a lot of different materials. We use sand and rice and noodles, but water is pretty standard. We'll put that in periodically, but not exclusively. And one way we made the water more interesting is by adding color to it. That allows it gives them a different. I think they're more interested in it. Kids just love water. I mean, it's just amazing. Kids will wash their hands and spend 10 minutes washing their hands because they love water. So we try to put water in as much as possible, but we try to use it in different ways and in different formats. I think in this particular case we had the cylinders of different sizes, and wanted them to use the same material that they're used to, the water, in different ways. So this time they were filling different materials of different lengths and different sizes, different volumes. Get a towel and dry my hands off. They have fun just with that, pouring and filling and dumping it back out. So in the course of something that they enjoy doing already, we know that they enjoy, we can start asking them questions or start moving them in the direction of observing what they're doing in more specific terms. We can talk about something as simple as small, bigger, biggest, sequencing the volumes. We can also go a little further and talk about how many of the small one does it take to fill the large one. So there are a lot of different levels depending on where that child is, where we can move them.
It's just for the little one. It's just for this big one. This one.
So each one holds the same amount?
Yeah.
And to further explore measuring, we first of all would use different materials. So they're very interested in the same activity but with different materials. That really allows them to really recognize the difference in materials, how materials pour, a lot of science in that. But we incorporate the math at the same time. We might put markings on the cylinder so they can measure how many centimeters it is graduate. Then we can use scoops to say, okay, now how many scoops does it take to fill each one? So if it takes 2 scoops to fill the small one, and it takes 2 of those to fill the large one, we can start to use some repeated addition and even multiplication with the higher ones. Not in that sense, but start to move them in that direction. But comparing volumes with different materials and in different ways, and actually counting out specifically instead of just talking about this one's bigger, this one's smaller. Well, how much bigger or how much more does that hold? Which one? And which one held the least? That one held the least. So what do we say about this one? If this one's the most and this one's the least,
This is a half.
half of what?
This is the half of the water. And this is this is the middle one.
This is the middle one. So this is half of this one, and this one is half. So this is half of the tall one, tallest one, and the shortest one is half of the medium one. Is that what you said? The medium or middle?
Middle.
Middle. Those are for measuring. If you want, you can use those to measure.
Time is another attribute that can be measured. However, measuring elapsed time is a difficult concept for young children. In the following video, you will see children sequence or order events in their day. Sequencing helps young children begin to map out the passage of time. Understanding the passage of time is essential in being able to measure time.
Did you know that we have a new friend who's going to be joining our class? Did I tell you that yet? Yeah? Her name is Paige. Paige. And she's a little girl who's 3 years old, just like some of you. I thought it might be helpful if we made a book about our day so that Paige would know what we do at school today. So I need you to help me with that job. Then I have all these pictures of some of the different things we do at school, and I got them all mixed up. So I need you to help me put them in order, okay? Let's see, what's one of the first things you do? Who's this, do you know? Do you remember him? At the front desk? Do you know his name? What are the children doing in this picture?
Group.
Yeah, they're having group time. Okay.
Me.
I'm not sure if you're in that one or not. And
Who's those?
looks like one of our friends. Who's this? What are we doing in this picture?
Eating.
Eating. What do you think? Are we having lunch or snack?
Lunch.
Lunch. How can you tell?
Snack. Outside.
Yeah, outside. So here's a picture of outside. Okay. What's this a picture of?
Eating.
Eating. What do you think?
Snack.
I think so too. Can you put your feet in, Justin, please?
One.
Okay. Well, we're nobody's having one. We're all going to do it together.
I see two.
Yeah. What's this?
Stool.
It's school, isn't it? It's our school. Okay. Sit back so everyone can see. What's this a picture of?
I know more.
What's this a picture of? Cubbies. It's a picture of our
I
cubbies.
know more.
You want more? More what? We're all working together. And what's this a picture of? Leaves. Right. What do you do with your leaves?
Put them on the tree.
Sure do. Okay. So what page should come first?
The name.
Can you tell me while you're sitting on your mat?
The name.
The name?
This one.
The name? Oh, Napoleon. Do you see Napoleon first? What about, where should this picture go?
First. Well, it should be school. You should put it first.
I should put it first? Okay, so first the school, and then Napoleon. Okay.
And then the tree.
Then the tree. Okay, then the names. Okay, thanks, Omara. Then what?
What
What do you do after you hang up your name on the tree?
Play a little bit.
What do you do right after that?
There.
Okay, sit down. What if you have a jacket on? Or your backpack? What do you do when after you hang up your name?
Put them in your cubby.
Put them in your cubby. So should we put a picture of the cubby next?
Yeah.
Okay.
But our names are on top.
You're right. You're right. And the morning class names are on the bottom. Do you think that's something important that we
Who's
should tell
that
them?
over there?
Or is it the other way around? I forgot.
Who's that over there?
Oh, that's a girl eating some snack. So what do you do after you put your things in your cubby?
I know.
What?
Obey. Hang your name up.
Well, sometimes you do. Sometimes when you come in, you go to your cubby and then hang up your name. What should I do?
Look.
Which page should go
I want
first?
to eat. So, the name.
The name.
Jeffrey,
And then the
Deanna,
cubby. Okay.
Sit up, please. Sit up.
What do you do after you put your
Sit
things
up,
in your
sit
cubby?
down.
I don't want to Maybe play a little bit.
Play a little, and then, but I don't really have a picture of playing. What should I do about that?
Snack.
Then we eat. What do we eat first?
Lunch.
We eat lunch first. Which one was the picture of lunch?
I eat
Okay.
apple crackers.
Okay, sit back one second. Sometimes you get a
Cereal.
cereal. You like cereal?
No,
All
we
right.
don't like cereal.
What do we do
Jeffrey,
after
scoot
we
back,
eat
Deanna,
lunch?
can't-
I like apple crackers.
Omar, what do we do after we
I
have
like
lunch?
apple crackers. Snack.
Well, right after lunch we have snack?
Or is it later?
Later. So what do we do before we have snack, but after we have lunch?
Outside.
We go outside, don't we? And here's the picture of outside. And then what? What do you do when you come in from outside? We have group. And then what do you do?
Cereal.
Snack, okay.
Cereal.
And then what do you do after you eat snack?
Jeffrey, scoot
Go
back.
You
home.
go home. I don't really have a picture for that either. What do you think I should do about that?
Make some.
Make one? I'm gonna make a note. Did you give me a marker? Yep. I'll make a note to make a goodbye page, okay? That way I don't forget.
And a cereal.
Oh, a playing page too, you're right. Okay, make playing page. And what, goodbye page? Is that what we
Yeah.
said?
Mommy, go get paid.
What do you do with your leaf when you leave?
I know. Get it out on the tree.
You put it on the table, so maybe I should take a picture of that. Let's double check and make sure we got it right. So the first thing you see is school, right? Okay, and then you see Napoleon at the front desk, or Judy, that's who's there right now. And then you
Name.
put up your name. Right now we have leaves, okay?
Other leaves.
And then you sit back so everyone can see.
Cubbies.
Put your things in your cubbies. And then
Eating.
eating lunch. And then we play for a little, so I have to make a playing page. And then outside. And then group time. And then snack. And then I have to make a goodbye page. That's right. Okay, thank you for helping me with that job.
You have seen many examples of ways to encourage young children to engage in higher level mathematical thinking. I challenge you to integrate these concepts of geometry, patterning, and measurement into your classroom. Engage in reflective practice and make adaptations and extensions to promote further knowledge. Building a strong mathematical foundation in early childhood is essential in advancing mathematical outcomes later in schooling.
For Dr. Muma, the teachers at the Arlett Center, Tom Purdy, our producer, and the early childhood educators and researchers here at the University of Cincinnati, I thank you for watching how we nurture and teach the foundational learning of patterning, geometry, and measurement in young children. This video only focused on a part of our math curriculum. We hope that you will find our other Arlett Instructional Media productions equally as helpful as you aim high for best practices in early childhood care and education.
Okay, come up here. He's showing you. Okay. Oh, that was a good idea, man.
Arlett Instructional Media. Aim high for best practices in early childhood care and education.